Hey, Conor here at IESE Business School, and this week I want to share a quote that I heard from Scott Galloway. Scott Galloway is an entrepreneur and a professor in New York, and he speaks quite bluntly, clearly, and directly about the challenges of living life today. And one of the quotes that I heard from him was, if you can do your job perfectly well from home, be worried, be very scared. If you can do your job perfectly well from home, you are very replaceable. Whether it's ChatGPT and AI starting to replace, whether it's globalization and younger, ambitious people able to learn, if you're able to do your job perfectly satisfactorily from home, it means your work does not involve building trusted relationships. And I think the reason you go into an office, the reason you go outside of your home to get work done is perhaps not to do the work better, but to build relationships with the people around you. Build relationships with your peers, build relationships with the people who supervise, and build relationships with those that take the big decisions about where resources go and what your next opportunity is going to look like. And I think this idea of building relationships, taking seriously that building relationships has to be part of every single day. If you're going to build a career, not a job, you're going to build something that gets better and better every year, every decade, because relationships are something that is very difficult to replace. And trusted relationships, learning how to build them, I think is a skill that we all can improve. And on this idea, last week I shared a video talking about something from David Brooks. And David Brooks talks a lot about what it is to build relationships. And he makes a distinction between two types of people, what he calls illuminators and diminishers. And I think that there's another business book that talks about people, leaders, as maximizers and diminishers, or maximizers and minimizers. There are certain people that when they're with you, they help you feel better about yourself. I think one of the stories that David Brooks shares is about an individual that met on consecutive nights, first the UK Prime Minister Gladstone. And after spending an hour at dinner with Gladstone, she came away thinking, well, he is a really, really smart and brilliant man. The next night, she happened to be sat next to the next Prime Minister, which was Disraeli. And when she came away from the dinner with Disraeli, she felt that she was brilliant. She had capability. She could do things. And the difference between an illuminator and a diminisher is the difference between these two people, whether they talk about themselves or they help you understand more about you. In building relationships, one of the most important things is learning to ask more questions. Years ago, Verne Harnish challenged me. He said, Conor, you need to raise your question to answer proportion. And I think it's a challenge for all of us when we're meeting with people, when we're out socially. Raise your question to answer percentage. Ask more questions. Listen. And for me, this idea of being an illuminator is ask people about what's interesting to them. Ask them questions. Become almost a forensic scientist of learning about what's going on in other people's lives, what challenges they're facing, what are the goals they're going towards. But learn to ask questions. So this idea of if you can do your work from home, get out of there. If you don't know what to say to people, ask them questions. Learn to ask great questions to the people around you. For me, sometimes I say that 4 simple questions to ask when you don't know what to ask. The 4 questions: what's going well? What's not going well? What would you change? What else? And these are 4 simple questions you can ask anytime. Hey, what's going well? What's not going well? What would you change? What else? So anyway, this thought, if you could do your job perfectly well from home, be scared. Be very scared. It says Scott Galloway, get a shirt on, get into the office, meet people, spend time with people. In my own business, I want everyone working in the business to never have more than 4 hours of task type work, so that there's at least 4 hours every day that is building connections, speaking to people, learning about how other people are doing, what they're dealing with, encouraging them, letting them know that you're thinking of them, helping them think through the challenges that they're facing in the day, helping them find other resources and connect to other people. And this, while it's not urgent tasks, is a really important part of really building a meaningful career for yourself. So anyway, Conor, have a good one. Have a great weekend. Thank you for your likes, your listens, your comments, your sharing. Keeps me inspired to keep making these videos. Have a good one.